You're outraged, excited, confused, overwhelmed, relieved, maybe you're just exhausted. If you don't quite know how to feel about Elon Musk's DOGE agenda and what might come next, you're not alone. In just a matter of weeks, 30,000 federal employees across various agencies lost their jobs. The official DOGE website claims it's now terminated over 2,300 contracts totaling $8 billion, 3,500 grants totaling $10 billion, and over 750 government leases. But in the coming weeks, I believe we're going to see a dramatic acceleration of the DOGE agenda, culminating in a collapse that could change everything about what it means to live, work, and earn money in America. If you thought these past few weeks in the stock market were wild, they'll be nothing compared to what's coming next. As soon as April 30th, this collapse could have enormous implications on stocks. We can already see the smart money moving in preparation and recommend you take a few simple steps immediately. This will impact you because it's going to impact everyone. The DOGE collapse could very quickly mean a dramatic change in how you pay your taxes, how you collect Social Security, the way your kids and grandkids are taught in school, how the police and security services protect our streets, and most importantly, it'll have a huge impact on the stock market. So please, if you're a retiree, a homeowner, a taxpayer, pay careful attention to what I'm going to share today and know that you have just a matter of weeks to act. When the DOGE collapse hits, it'll be all anyone can talk about. It'll be dissected thousands of times in the newspaper, on TV, on YouTube, on podcasts. Everywhere you look, people will be talking about it, and I am certain a lot of people are going to feel alarmed and scared. But at the same time, a handful of people could see their net worth explode. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new generation of DOGE millionaires before the year is out. This presentation is all about what you need to do today to give yourself a real shot at joining them. My name is Rob Spivey. 15 years ago, I co-founded a small financial think tank. Today, we have offices serving big institutional clients around the world, and all 10 of the biggest money managers in the world follow our research, including JPMorgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, and Fidelity. Just days before President Trump was sworn in office as our 47th president, my firm recorded a short presentation sharing our prediction on why Elon was suddenly so entrenched in DC politics. We studied the billionaire for a decade and felt his true plan could be far more radical and economically motivated than anyone realized. And we released a short list of stocks that could soar as a result. In short, we shared a very simple, powerful idea. Elon's true sights are not set on just tackling bureaucratic waste. Instead, he is hell-bent on something else, something that could forever change life in America. Whether you think Elon is the savior our country needs, or you think he's just there to fill his company's coffers with more government cash, you need to just put your opinions to the side and focus on a single opportunity in front of you right now. We believe Elon's true agenda has everything to do with his insatiable need to be the supreme authority on artificial intelligence in America. Said differently, Elon infiltrated Washington to lay the groundwork for what we call the US of AI. In just a few short weeks, as the media circus focused on US aid and DEI, the proof of Elon's true agenda piled up. For example, DOGE attempted to gain swift access to both the US Treasury and the IRS Central Payments Database and Information Systems, key data that can be fed into any AI training system. DOGE rapidly developed GSAI, a custom chatbot that government agencies could use to analyze huge amounts of data and draft memos faster. DOGE admitted they used AI to analyze responses to the now scandalous "What did you get done last week?" email. DOGE even announced the first ever fully digital retirement system after upgrading a decades-old paper-based filing system. As House Speaker Mike Johnson said, Elon has cracked the code. He is now inside the agencies. He's created these algorithms that are constantly crawling through the data. And as he told me in his office, the data doesn't lie. We're going to be able to transform the way the federal government works at the end of this. And that is a very exciting prospect. It is a truly revolutionary moment for the entire nation. Once you start to view what Elon's doing through this lens, so much begins to make sense. That's why I'm proud to say over 1.5 million people have now seen our presentation. I've been contacted for exclusive interviews about it in the media, and I've been approached by countless family members and friends for follow-up questions. But as I said, I'm now stepping forward with an important update. Things are moving faster than we ever could have imagined, and in light of recent market activity, I now believe we'll witness the DOGE collapse before April 30th. I call it a collapse for a reason that will soon become clear. This collapse could affect your life, whether you work for the government or not, and it'll have a far greater impact than merely saving taxpayers' money. It'll bring about nothing short of a revolution in our economy, changing the way you file and pay your taxes, collect Social Security, and how you travel. In the simplest terms possible, we believe Elon's plan is to collapse the gargantuan, disjointed, and archaic data piles from across all 441 government agencies into one centralized database. This is intended to eliminate waste, identify fraud, and weed out government inefficiencies like never before. And as it continues to decrease the overall size of the federal government, Elon will create an enormous opportunity for technology and automation to come in full force. This is creating a once-in-a-lifetime investing opportunity, as I'll show you. And that's because there's a short list of companies right now that are in the perfect position to service the White House's new AI-first strategy. CEOs and tech executives are in a frenzy to secure the multi-billion-dollar government contracts that will come from this reshaping of the government. This is a revolution, said Alex Karp, CEO of Palantir, whose stock is up 212% in the past year as AI takes hold of Washington. But first, it's important you understand the scale of what I'm talking about and exactly how much money is on the line. To do that, I'm going to take you to the presentation I mentioned earlier. It was filmed behind closed doors, just steps from the New York Stock Exchange in downtown Manhattan. You'll get the full overview of what we believe Elon is planning, why, and what to do about it. Please, take these steps now while everything we recommend you do is still actionable. The first thing to note is this is all meticulously planned. In fact, Elon will launch what we're calling the US of AI using the same strategy he has applied to every other business he has run. With that, let's take a look. See, while Elon Musk might have a reputation as a maverick in the media, he's actually far more predictable than people understand. He's not crazy, he's not impulsive, and he goes about building all of his businesses in exactly the same way. He uses an algorithm, a process he repeats over and over and over again within his businesses. People who work closely with him, they say it's almost a religious chant. And even he admits he repeats it out loud to probably an annoying degree. It goes like this. 1, question every requirement. 2, delete any part or process you can. 3, simplify and optimize. 4, accelerate the time cycle. And 5, automate. That's the playbook. It's the same approach he used to turn Tesla into the most valuable, most disruptive car company in the world, in the face of huge controversy and in the face of huge opposition. And it's the same approach he took with SpaceX, taking the firm from the brink of failure and turning it into one of the most valuable companies and most important companies in the world. I'd bet everything Elon is turning to his trusted algo once again in his new role as the head of DOGE. He's already questioning everything and everyone. He's already rumored to be pushing whole entire departments to accelerate their plans and report what they've accomplished each week. Are any of you on Twitter? Right? Have you seen the tweet? Right? Next, he's going to try to delete everything he can. He's going to then try to simplify things, and then he'll look to speed them up. But it's that final part of the algorithm, step 5, where the real story is today. It's the single word that's changing everything, not just for the government, but for the entire US economy, and even our way of life. You've probably heard that word thrown around a lot recently. It seems like AI can automate nearly everything now. And it wasn't long ago that only the most
basic jobs could be automated, things like self-service checkouts in a grocery store. But now, the more you look for signs of this, the more you see. And once you've seen the signs, you can't unsee them. AI can now compete with doctors at diagnosing illnesses. The number of lawyers using it just nearly quadrupled in the space of a year. And the same thing is happening in the world of accountancy. 66% of accountants now consider AI to be a competitive advantage. And AI even would have trounced my former colleagues on Wall Street for earnings forecasts going all the way back to 1968. You've been hearing more and more of these stories every day, right? I mean, I'm sure you all have, right? But what you may not realize is, as we speak, the federal government itself is preparing to automate vast numbers of tasks too. The Social Security Administration is using AI to process and approve new applications. The US Patent Office is using AI to process and check new applications. The Department of Education is integrating generative AI into its teaching practices all over the country. And the Department of Homeland Security is using AI to process new immigration documents and even predict whether a new application should even be approved. In the Department of Labor, it's rolling out AI across a frankly incredible number of its services. It's launched form recognizers for benefits. It's using AI to process doctor's notes. It's automating its document validation services. It's using AI legal tools to record disputes and transcribe phone calls. And though he'd never admit it publicly, we believe Elon Musk has installed himself inside the Trump administration to massively accelerate this process. That is what DOGE is really all about. Before long, every single part of the government is gonna involve AI. Whether you file a tax return, it'll be checked and approved by AI. The next time you apply for a driver's license, ID, a passport, there'll be no standing in line and filling out forms by hand. The entire process will be handled by AI. You may even find yourself talking to an AI agent on the phone, and when it comes to apply to Social Security, your income could be calculated, approved, and paid out automatically using AI. AI will be at the heart of every interaction, and Elon will make it happen. No one has consistently shown an ability to make sense of massive, intertwined, and highly complicated problems like Elon has. Look, if the guy can develop reusable rockets, get your brain to control a computer with your thoughts, provide global internet coverage, and develop tunnels for high-speed transportation, I think he can handle a little government bureaucratic waste. Believe me, this world is coming whether you like it or not. Look, again, that excites some people, and I understand. It scares others. I know a lot of people are gonna feel confused and left behind by what's coming. That's inevitable. But there'll be another side of this all. One very, very few people will properly understand, but which is already turning thousands of people into millionaires. Put simply, the AI companies the federal government recruits to make this a reality are going to go up further and faster than any other stock in America. I know, because it's already happening. For instance, in late 2023, the Senate, they held a private meeting on the adoption of AI across the economy. We don't actually know exactly what was discussed. No journalists or outsiders were allowed in. But we do know that Elon was allowed to attend. And in fact, we know he happened to sit next to a man named Alex Karp. Look, you've probably never heard his name before, but in the AI world, Karp is a big player. He's the CEO of a major AI company founded by Elon's former business partner, Peter Thiel. I doubt we'll ever know precisely what he, Elon, and the government insiders discussed, but there's a reason Karp's company, called Palantir, has been receiving several huge government contracts to roll out AI technology inside the Pentagon. And its stock, it's taken off as a result. It's up 380% since September 2023. Of course, such rapid success, it's brought Palantir to the attention of the financial media. Jim Cramer, he joined the dots between Palantir, the government, and Elon Musk live on air. He said, Palantir is up a lot because I think Musk is going to turn to them and say, the Defense Department, it's yours. Get rid of all those people. That's exactly what's happening. But The single most important thing you need to understand right now is there are going to be literally hundreds of opportunities like this emerging all over America in the very, very near future. There are 441 different government agencies and sub-agencies at the federal level, and they're all about to be disrupted by AI. If you know where to look, you could double or triple your money very, very quickly. For instance, not a lot of people know this, but even NVIDIA owes some of its success to landing major AI contracts from the government. That started all the way back in 2012, when NVIDIA got $20 million from DARPA to fund its AI-powered vehicle project. Since then, it's up 38,000%, and it's still landing big AI contracts today. In January 2024, NVIDIA became an official AI partner with the US National Science Foundation. C3 AI is another great example. In 2022, it landed a huge $500 million order from the Department of Defense to provide its AI capabilities. In the beginning of 2024, the US Army handed Big Bear AI a similar AI contract worth $165 million. The result? You could have doubled your money in a year. Or what about Modine Inc.? It's not a stock many people are even familiar with. And in fact, if you were, from the outside, it doesn't even appear to be an AI stock at all. But in 2024, it landed a major government AI contract, and it's up more than 70% as a result. Look, make no mistake, this is the new normal for the US stock market. And with Elon now in a key role within the White House, you can expect things to rapidly accelerate from here. The CIA is pushing to adopt artificial intelligence across its organization at a rapid pace. The Department of Veteran Affairs just issued a notice of intent to issue contracts for an AI-enabled healthcare service. And the Pentagon has released a first draft of what's rumored to be the biggest government AI contract in history, worth $15 billion. All told, US government spending on artificial intelligence, it's exploded. It's growing by 1,200%. To repeat, all of this spending is going directly to a handful of world-leading AI companies, many of which have already begun to soar in value. The smoking gun? Congress just introduced a bill that proves the US government is preparing to ramp things up massively. In the days after the election, once Trump and Elon knew they were officially heading for the White House, a bipartisan bill introduced by former Google CEO Eric Schmidt specifically laid out a new process for handing out government AI contracts. It would make it far easier for smaller companies to land those contracts, meaning we could see a wave of deals between widely unknown stocks and the federal government in the very near future. With Elon now in role as head of DOGE, we're about to see literally hundreds of new AI contracts handed out. It could be the literal year of the deal. As I said, there are 441 federal agencies and sub-agencies out there. They all need AI, and only Elon can see how to link everything up and make it happen. Look, as his ex-wife once put it, it's Elon's world, and the rest of us are just living in it. Look, can you see what's happening? We're watching the United States of artificial intelligence, the US of AI, being born right in front of our eyes. It is the biggest mass adoption of new technology since the internet, and you're living through it right now. Every new contract could send another AI stock soaring. Every new approval could see a new group of insiders get rich, and every new deal creates another million-dollar AI opportunity. Please understand, these stories and reports, they're all out there. For those who know where to look, I'm just connecting the dots for you. And we've backed all this up, all my claims up today in the details and disclosure page below. But in case I'm not being clear enough, let me be blunt. You know Elon Musk has minted whole armies of new millionaires with his previous ventures. This is your chance to be part of his biggest disruption yet. Artificial intelligence is creating millionaires, even billionaires, at a rapid rate, but it's about to accelerate as Elon develops the US of AI. It's going to be far bigger than the emergence of the internet, and it's going to make some people rich, and I think you have a shot at being one of them if you just make the moves I'm about to lay out for you today. So why is this inevitable? Because Elon himself is preparing to orchestrate things from within the federal government itself. And we also have a second smoking gun. Elon just built what he claims is the most powerful AI training system in the world, Project Colossus in Memphis, Tennessee. Have you heard of it, right? Good, all right, a few of you have, all right. Colossus is a $6 billion facility stocked with 100,000 NVIDIA AI chips. Elon has gone through great lengths to protect what's inside. His legal team even made government employees sign NDAs after hearing about his plans. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang claims a facility like this usually takes 3 years to build and to plan. What Elon did is superhuman, he added. Elon built it in 122 days. That's less than a third of a year. Then he immediately secured himself a uniquely powerful role inside the US government. Look, that's no coincidence. He wants to be the hero who decides what AI will look like in America for years to come. Just imagine if all the AI companies who land government contracts have to train at his Colossus facility. That right there, that's what he's angling for. Elon knows that right now is the time to strike, and he's advancing his plans at a breakneck speed. He knows we've effectively hit a technology tipping point where literally millions of jobs can be done by a machine. Think about how many of those are going to be government workers. The Turing Institute predicts that 84% of government tasks across 200 different government services could soon be automated. That's because a vast majority of government time is spent on what's called highly transactional tasks. It studied the UK government and found that workers process 1 billion citizen-facing transactions per year, like passport applications, benefit approvals, applying to vote, or registering a birth. The same thing is true for governments worldwide. A lot of it is just filling out forms, collecting data, and then issuing documents. It's classified as complex but repetitive work, which is exactly the kind of work AI excels at. In fact, our longtime advisor, Dr. John Sviokla, he likes to talk about the idea of WINS work, W-I-N-S. For background, John is a senior fellow at Harvard Business School, a former professor there, and a widely respected voice on AI. So WINS stands for words, images, numbers, and sounds. As Professor Sviokla likes to explain it, the more WINS work you do, the more vulnerable you are to AI. And look, it's not hard to argue that upwards of 75% of the work 9-to-5 government employees do, it's WINS work. Remember, as Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy told the Wall Street Journal themselves, we're entrepreneurs, not politicians. Elon, he wants to be at the highest level to influence how AI works at the highest level. This is simply another problem for him. It's another problem for him to solve. In doing so, he's going to create the greatest wealth building opportunity of our lives. Far bigger than the internet, far bigger than the personal computer or the smartphone. If there's one thing we know for a fact, it's when the government adopts a new technology, the companies involved often go on and make lots of people rich. Just for instance, when the FDR created Social Security during the Great Depression, he was told it was impossible. Back then, government records were mostly handwritten. They were all filed as physical documents, millions of them. The idea of using those records to organize regular payments to millions of people all over the country using 1930s technology seemed far beyond what any government department could possibly do. It can't be done. The government should just abandon the whole idea, one expert said. So what did the government do? The government turned to new technology. It asked a small company called IBM to build a machine that could make the program possible. IBM built the 077 collator specifically for the task. It made Social Security a reality and set itself on a path to becoming one of the most valuable companies in American history. Now, nearly a century later, It looks to me like Elon may be following in IBM's footsteps with his Colossus supercomputer. We saw this happen with General Motors too. In 1941, it made $2.4 billion in car sales. Then came Pearl Harbor. The US military decided it had to motorize at a rapid rate, and GM's revenue more than tripled inside a single 12-month period. We've seen it again and again and again. When the US government adopts new technology, it often signals a much wider rollout across the entire economy, creating hundreds of opportunities to grow wealthier. Now, thanks to Elon Musk's plan to bring AI to the heart of the US economy, we're gonna see this pattern play out once again. Is he gonna win every battle with the government? Of course not. But he's simply kicking off the inevitable. Again, there are 441 agencies and sub-agencies in the Federal Register, and there are massive opportunities for wins work in each and every one of them. Everything from the Agricultural Department to the Department of Veteran Affairs. The White House is going to turn to the best AI firms, big and small, to help it adopt and roll out AI across the entire federal government. History suggests the companies it chooses to partner with could easily soar 5, 10, or 20 times higher. Elon now has the resources, the technology, and the position of power within the government to kick off this explosive investment. As I showed you, the DOGE has been given a little over a year to make sweeping changes to the way the federal government works. By now, I hope it's clear to you. AI will be central to those plans. I am convinced we're going to see sweeping changes inside this first historic 100 days of Trump's administration. Remember, Elon expects a maniacal sense of urgency with every project he's involved in. And remember too, step 4 of his algorithm is accelerate the time cycle. That urgency has already made him the richest man in the world and turned his followers into millionaires as a direct result. The whole world is watching to see if Elon can pull this off. This isn't a fringe idea like space travel or electric vehicles. This is the government of 340 million people. This impacts everyone. Nothing would be a bigger boon for him and his new best friend, Donald Trump, than to be able to end their first 100 days with a, look at what we did rally speech. That's why we believe in the first 100 days, he's gonna announce a huge program of AI adoption across the entire federal government, with a flurry of lucrative new contracts for AI tech companies chosen to be partners. Mark my words, those stocks, they're gonna soar. Just don't expect the media to tell you about it. Not until it's too late. Chances are, there won't even be a press conference. Elon could just take to Twitter and tweet that this is happening. That could literally happen any day now, which means you have an important choice to make today. Are you gonna stand by and watch this happen? Or are you gonna position yourself to potentially profit from it by making a handful of strategic moves with your money right now? Only you can answer that question. But to us, and to a lot of the rich and powerful people we work with, the writing's already on the wall. Now, look, I have my doubts over whether we can automate 84% of the government, as the Turing Institute claims. After all, Elon's going up against some of the most powerful unions in the world, and a lot of vested interests. And a lot of smart people we listen to are already declaring DOGE dead on arrival. And a lot of the big ideas he talked about, they probably are. Look, I mean, his $2 trillion savings promise from when he first started talking to Trump about this idea, the math doesn't math. It doesn't add up when you look at the federal budget. But even a fraction of that total and of Elon's vision, it would be a seismic shift for our entire economy. And whether Elon and DOGE actually succeed in replacing millions of workers with AI, that's besides the point. The attempt alone is going to totally shift how our entire country sees AI. It's going to put artificial intelligence at the center of our economy, and it's going to signal a much wider economic shift, one in which the companies leveraging AI become the most powerful businesses in the world. Let me be blunt. The rollout of AI across the economy is going to create more wealth for more people than every new technology our nation has ever seen, combined. I thought the invention and adoption of the internet would be the biggest and most fascinating breakthrough of my life, but AI is even bigger. Artificial intelligence, it's already created 600,000 new millionaires, and it's expected to add $200 trillion to global economic output as it's deployed. In fact, Goldman Sachs predicts it'll increase corporate profitabilities by 30% across the entire economy. And again, we don't have to see millions of jobs lost for that to happen. AI helps people do more with less. It helps them get more work done in less time, and it frees up more time for complex tasks and creates a huge productivity boom. Just consider, one study found that giving a human worker access to AI helped them complete their tasks 55% faster than working alone. This is what Elon is focused on doing in Washington, and this is the trade Wall Street should be making, and you can get your money there first. So look, if you missed out on the AI boom, or you wished you played it differently, you're about to get a rare second chance. Because look, the opportunity here is vast. Just consider this, $16.4 billion. That's the amount of money the USDA Food and Nutrition Service Department wasted on dead, duplicate, or disqualified food stamp recipients. AI could have fixed that. 1.3 million. That's how much the Bureau of Prisons spent to take and mail hard copies of prisoner x-rays in an era where almost all medical records, they're digital. That goes away with AI. 2.8 million, that's how much we spent to service federal grant accounts that are either empty or expired. AI could identify them in seconds with the correct prompts. Or 1.2 million, that's the cost of a study from the National Science Foundation on whether grandparents should play the World of Warcraft video game. Just like, literally, who approved that? And 20 million, that's the amount the US Agency for International Development spent to create a remake of Sesame Street for Pakistan. Literally, AI could have done that for next to nothing and overnight. Well, those are small examples. Just take a moment to think what happens when the full power of AI is unleashed on our 441 government agencies. What happens to the Department of Agriculture now that AI can detect crop diseases, monitor the health of livestock, predict crop yields, and use supply chain and demand forecasting? And then, of course, there's the Department of Defense. That's where the big money is. Just the Army alone has 232 active AI projects. Mark my words, once the layoffs start, once companies and Wall Street wake up and realize what Elon is really doing, I'd be shocked if we didn't see a mania in certain stocks. Hundreds of % gains in very little time, much like we saw with NVIDIA, IBM, Apple, and Tesla. I know how crazy that sounds. A stock like NVIDIA, up more than 100,000% since inception, it sounds like a total outlier. But we're here to tell you, it won't be the only one. There'll be other opportunities just like it as Elon ramps up his plans, and we want to give you the edge you need to find them. Think of it this way, right? You've essentially been transported back to the 1990s. What's going to happen to certain AI stocks is akin to what we saw with the internet. Look, I never thought I'd see this opportunity ever again. But this time, it's even bigger. So now, you're back at the starting line, and you're armed with the knowledge of what we believe will happen and how big it's going to be. So, what are you going to do about it? So, here are the 2 steps we recommend. Step 1, buy these stocks before April 30th. Your first step, obviously, is to buy the very best stocks that could take off as Elon creates the US of AI. And I've got good news. My team and I just poured a ton of time into creating the single most comprehensive investing resource anywhere on these companies. Read it cover to cover, and then read it again. It could have a bigger impact on your wealth than likely anything else you do this year. The name of the report, it's easy to remember. Get Rich in the US of AI. Inside, you'll get all the details on which companies to own right away. You'll also learn about Elon's Project Colossus, the AI training facility he's building in Memphis. You see, just a short list of American companies will likely become the brains and body of this AI facility. It's already well documented that NVIDIA, Dell, Supermicrocomputers, they've all been assisting Elon, and I suspect that's helped boost their recent stock price surges. But those are not the companies outlined inside in this report. Much like Elon himself, some of these companies that are in the report are highly controversial for their ruthless competitive nature, along with their deep government connections. You've got one company who, right on their website, they say, we want to win 100-0, not 51-49. They're wildly secretive, and the brothers who founded the company legally changed their name. What's more, they actually once camouflaged an entire facility in Burbank, California. That's 53,000 employees that were inside. They did it by recruiting artists, set designers, and painters from nearby movie studios, including Disney and Paramount. Elon is going to need that level of secrecy and privacy for Colossus. There's another company, right? It's already partnering with Tesla. It supplies tech that Elon wants rolled out for pretty much every Tesla customer. And I bet you've never heard of this next one. And yet, it has roughly 25,000 staff with secret or top secret government clearances. And there's another one, right? This one was what we call Colossus's shortlist. It employs a huge team of lobbyists. A dozen of them previously held important government jobs from the Senate to the Department of Homeland Security. Elon is going to need the speed, connections, and the level of expertise that these companies provide. Today, you can buy all of these companies through a regular brokerage account, and I urge you to do so before April 30th. The report, it also covers which companies will literally fuel this revolution. As it stands, Colossus already demands as much energy as over 100,000 homes. And Elon, he just appealed to the city of Memphis with plans to double or triple that by the summer. In order to do that, you need massive data centers and a tremendous amount of power. And two companies, they look set to make a killing as the US of AI goes into overdrive. One of them, it's located in the Permian Basin on a defunct 19th century railroad. Until recently, it didn't even qualify to be listed within major stock indices. But after making a strategic energy pivot, its share price has gone parabolic and shares have tripled in 2024. As you'll learn in the report, it is uniquely positioned to continue growing for years to come. And the other company? The other company has vast ties to rich natural gas deposits and a long list of government connections. For example, the US Department of Energy just granted it $30 million in funding. And that number, it's expected to balloon all the way to $925 million. In short, these are no ordinary companies, and neither are the profits they've handed investors. We're talking returns in the thousands of percent. One of them handed its long-term investors 46,763% returns. That is preposterous, right? That would have turned every 10,000 invested into over $4 million. And this profitable trend, it could continue into this new era. So if you want to align yourself with Elon's US of AI, everything you need to know is inside our report. As I mentioned, we think this is the best asymmetric bet in the world right now. The companies on this list are highly likely to secure federal AI contracts, and when they do, they could skyrocket. That's why it's important you act now. Even if we're wrong about one or two, you'll still be getting the names of a company that's well positioned in the AI space, along with the chances to grow your money in the coming years. Now, it would not be uncommon to see financial research like this sell for $10,000 a report. In fact, our firm has charged our institutional Wall Street clients as much as $100,000 for a single month of our research. But in this rare case, with Elon's plan coming to a head, we want to get this research into as many people's hands as possible. I put this report together with my business partner, Joel Littman. Look, though he's far too modest to say so, since he's not here right now, I'll actually say what's the truth, I'll go on record as saying Joel is one of the best stock market analysts on the planet. He has an incredible mastery of the data, accounting, and the ins and outs of government spending. As I said earlier, today all 10 of the world's biggest money managers follow the work Joel and I do. So do more than half of the world's 300 largest financial firms. More importantly, Joel, he regularly presents some of our research for the FBI and has lectured at the U.S. Marine War College. He regularly presents research like this, like what we're talking about in these two reports, at the U.S. Pentagon, and he has many government insiders on speed dial. In fact, when Joel and I started our financial research firm called Altimetry, we built an incredible computer system to track stories just like this across the market. Put simply, this system finds you the best of the best companies in the stock market using a proprietary formula, and the results are world-class. For example, here's how the top 30 companies that our system found performed against the overall market over the last few decades. That's why followers of our work, from hedge funds to regular investors, have had the opportunity to see some frankly enormous stock gains over the years. Take Meta Platforms, for example. Today, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon, they're bitter rivals, and Zuckerberg's company is an AI powerhouse. But we spotted Meta's potential, back when it was still called Facebook, way back in 2013. It went on to surge 1,300%. And speaking of AI powerhouses, our firm recommended Google too, aka Alphabet, before it ran up 137%. Or take AI chip maker Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD. Joel and I were interviewed for an article in Barron's banging the drum about AMD all the way back in 2015. The company went on to jump 4,200%, meaning readers who listened to our prediction could have transformed $5,000 into $215,000. Our team also spotted another AI chip supplier, Lam Research Corporation, before it jumped 490% in a little over a year. Or take PayPal, the company which first shot Elon to fame and fortune, along with the rest of the PayPal mafia. Our team recommended this digital payment company and gave readers the opportunity to more than double their money as it ran up 112%, again, in just over a year. It's not all tech companies, of course. We've had wins across sectors and industries. Now, these are some of our best picks. Of course, all investments carry some degree of risk, and past performance, it doesn't guarantee future success. But here's the thing. No one else is doing this type of work for regular people. I know, because I've looked. And for a long time, our firm's research was completely off limits for regular folk. It was for Wall Street institutions only. But recently, that all changed. And today, it's your turn to capitalize on this. In fact, every single AI stock opportunity I'd like to send you was thoroughly researched and vetted by my team with the help from our Altimetry system. We believe these companies have huge potential for big gains. So how much does it cost to access tools and research like this? Well, our firm typically charges its institutional big name clients thousands of dollars per month for access to our data, our systems, and our analytics. But a few years ago, we started publishing a special version for non-professionals, for people who want to manage at least a portion of their wealth themselves. We put all of our best ideas and picks, as well as this special report, in a monthly stock research service called Hidden Alpha. And today, when you start a no-risk trial subscription to Hidden Alpha, we'll send you all the research I've described so far at a tiny fraction of the price the big money managers pay for our forensic research. So how much does it cost? Well, I believe it is the best bargain in the investment world when you see what you get. But before I get into specifics, there is one more critical step we're recommending right now. Step 2, buy Elon's favorite AI stock of 2025. Right, when I started to put this talk together, Joel and we asked ourselves, what's the NVIDIA of government? What's it gonna be? We quickly realized only one company fits the bill. Forbes, they call this company the mightiest unicorn, though I doubt you've ever heard of it before. Its founder also created Amazon's most profitable segment, Amazon Web Services, or AWS, before leaving to found this company. The use cases for government, they're endless. And because of that, we think it could easily 4x your money or more in a very little period of time. Most importantly, this is the company Tesla relies on for some of their AI needs. And we believe it will be top of mind for Elon over the next few months. You'll get all the details, including when and how to buy this company, in a second report called the #1 AI stock of 2025. We'll send you both of these reports when you take a no-risk trial subscription to Hidden Alpha. We've also given you access to the system itself, so you can see what our software says about your favorite stocks, or use it to figure out the best moves to make with other parts of your portfolio. Look, it's a true honor that people actually appreciate the work that we do in our research, because it's our life's work. And some of our users have told us it. One of our users named Stephen M said, "Joel, you and the team have made me rich." Another, Paul M, said, "I closed out 3 different trades on the same stock with gains of 700, 300, and 111%. Joel is a stone cold moneymaker." I believe you should never buy any stock until you see how it ranks and grades on our system. But look, access is for paid subscribers only, which is why when you start a trial subscription today, you'll receive Get Rich in the US of AI with 8 companies to buy right away, the #1 AI stock of 2025. Plus, you'll get the next full year, that's 12 issues, 1 delivered each month, of Hidden Alpha. As soon as you start, you'll receive all of the research above immediately. Then, on the first Monday of each month, you'll receive the newest issue. Each month, we'll show you a new investment recommendation to buy, and we'll update you on everything we're recommending here. And as I mentioned, you'll also get access to the system we built. This allows you to know immediately if any stock is a good buy or something, quite frankly, to stay away from. Normally, this work costs a minimum of $499 per year. But today, you can get started with a risk-free trial subscription at a huge discount. All I'm suggesting is that you try our research for yourself and see if it's right for you. If not, no problem. Simply cancel your subscription online or over the phone in the next 30 days, and you'll get a full refund for your subscription fee. Of course, like I said, you've also got to understand that all investments carry risk, and our past performance, it's no guarantee of future success. And that's why we always say, no matter what you invest in, never invest more than you can afford to lose. But if you were fully invested in our Hidden Alpha portfolio since our first issue, your portfolio would have returned 77% versus 68% for the S&P 500 Equal Weight Index. We're going to show you how to invest in Elon's new US of AI. Joel, myself, the whole Altimetry team, which includes more than 100 employees worldwide, will all be working for you to get you the very best chance to capitalize on what's going on. Just remember, you need to act within Trump's first 100 days to see the highest potential gains. Don't sit by and watch another tech trend pass you by. Wall Street hasn't caught on to this story yet, so many of these investments, they're still really cheap today, but they likely won't stay that way for very long. We're already starting to see the impact of this AI rollout in a select number of companies. Just look, Intuitive Machines shot up 172% in 3 months after it secured a government contract late last year. Palantir Technologies is up 319% after it received a $178 million contract to help the Army with AI and with machine learning. And Rocket Labs received $489 million to make and deliver satellites, and it's up 422% in the last year. And then there's Vistra. It's up 333% after it agreed to provide power to various government facilities. These are the types of opportunities we'll spot for you in Hidden Alpha. Thanks to our network of powerful contacts and our remarkable suite of investor tools, you can be properly positioned to potentially profit over the rollout of the US of AI. Now that Elon is about to orchestrate his biggest disruption to date, effectively the entire overhaul of the US economic system, the only question is, will you be ready? So just click the subscribe now button on your screen to continue. That will take you to a secure order form, and there you can review the details of this special offer once more. And you'll see one more special bonus that I didn't have a chance to review. Then, as soon as you subscribe, you'll get access to all of our critical research reports, everything I've described here, in a matter of minutes. So I just want to say Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will take advantage of the tremendous opportunity before you today. I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.